live. There we are. Happy New Year, everyone. Boy, I'm not so sure many of us will miss 2021. But what I do know is on this New Year's Eve, it is quite intense, it feels like. It feels like that here where I am, and also I got a couple of messages actually. One of them made me laugh because she said today question mark oof, and we went back and forth about that. And she this viewer, follower, whatever. And I hate using the word followers because it makes me feel weird. But this person was sharing that she just felt really heavy today. And my husband and I, as we were taking a walk this morning, we were both really quiet. We were just like, "Rah," and it's kind of feeling all of this denseness. And when I looked at the Schumann, I can bring it up, but the Schumann is showing, and it has been showing for days now, a lot of intensity on those lower densities. Okay, so we can see, there's a lot of activity right up here, and these are the lower frequencies of our planet and of us. So here's what's going on. I want to kind of catch you up a little bit on why you may not be feeling like in a party mood for New Year's Eve, while many people are feeling real deep sadness, grief, just those maybe some anger, but just like those deeper and more intense, denser emotions today. Remember, this whole entire year, we have almost daily received intense high photonic light that has expanded our consciousness. This is going to be the same message we've been talking about, but I'm going to reiterate, because if you keep it in perspective of every single day getting an upgrade, right? So if you think of your smartphone, a lot of times for those of us who like we get the updates on our smartphones, and then we turn it on and think little minor things have changed, and we got to find things, or something doesn't look the same. It's a little bit different of an operating system, and it's kind of frustrating. So we got to, figure it out. And that has been happening to our consciousness, our operating system, almost every single day in the year of 2021. So almost every day we've dealt with like, oh my gosh, who am I? I'm brand new. I'm not the same as I was yesterday. I'm certainly not the same as I was 2 months ago. I'm certainly not the same as I was New Year's Eve last year after 2020, right? Remember that 2021 was a 5-year. 5 is the number that in numerology for transformation. Transformation is messy. It's goopy. It's gooey. So as we have gotten upgraded, this has all been in our favor, but we have had to literally be in the goop for a majority of the year. And that goop had to do with us letting go and purging those old operating systems day after day after day after day. And those operating systems were old paradigms, old relationships, old traumas. They were old lifetimes. They were previous, generational traumas, generational densities that that are passed down from generation to generation. We were the ones to clear generational traumas. Lucky us. However, the other way of seeing that, though, is we were divinely guided here. We were the ones chosen by our soul family to be here, to be able to clear these densities for generations. So collectively, we've all had the opportunity to do this, but as we know, collectively, not everyone was aware of this process. Many people resisted this process and are hanging on to the old paradigms. So as we come to this final day of 2021, okay, if you think of all of the work, all of the energy that has been transforming. So energetically, we have been in a paradigm of a slower frequency in our planet. And slowly throughout this year, The planetary vibration has risen and risen and risen, just as it has for us and us and us. And those who are like hanging on to the lower, the lower frequency, the lower paradigms are in for a big shock. Whereas for those of us who are aware of this process, or just are on a healing journey, we've gotten rid of all of that. Today is the final push, right? It's the final push to birthing a new year. And in the whole, the whole metaphor of birth, right? That final push is typically the most painful. It is, in movies, it's like when the woman's screaming and that baby's coming, and we know what, if you've been through birth, or I mean, like, we all know what happens. There's some ugly, painful stuff that's happening on that last push, right? As that baby finally births into the world. We are birthing into a new year, but with that new year is a massive change in the energetics of our reality. So today, that final push is the final purging of all of the yuck. So a lot of what we're feeling, if you feel like, man, I have purged already, I've gotten rid of a lot of densities, I'm so tired, remember that every single person is feeling this purge today. And many people, this is a collective thing. So if you are an empath, chances are you are feeling a lot more than what is yours. If you are an empath that's on this planet right now and you are aware of this ascension journey, this is the time for us to simply do this purging ourselves today. So as we walked, we were, my husband and I were both breathing deep. We were, and we can put logical reasons as to why we might be feeling this, but it just feels a lot heavier than what we, can logically put together. So I know, because it feels so much denser than I probably need to be feeling, it's a collective thing. So we're taking care of a lot of collective energy, which means we are taking a lot of energy for our planet. We are helping our planet purge this last opportunity to get through the muck and the mess and the mire of a transformational year. What happens then is we move into tomorrow, we're moving then into a 6 year, 2022, 2 + 2 + 2 is 6. So if you can imagine, then transformation comes, and at the number 5, that's when the messy, gooey start thing, stage happens. When you go into the 6, the birth has happened and the energy has released. So now we're now like the newborn baby that's just like, oh my gosh, what's this world? But I'm going to take the metaphor into like the butterfly that comes out of the messy chrysalis, right? And now is flying. So as we move into 2022, that butterfly like has to learn how to fly, and it's like dipping and kind of like clumsy as it goes in, because it's now trying to, like, it's figuring out like who it is and how it operates in this new world, in this new reality. But once it finally figures itself out, then it flies, and it goes wherever it wants to go, and it goes up and down, and it flows with the winds. That is going to be us moving into 2022. The frequency of 2022 is completely different. It's in a higher energy. There's an amazing flow that is available to us. But if we are avoiding, or for all of the people who are avoiding this last purge, or have avoided purging all of this year, all of that energy still comes with them. So there's going to be like, this is the weight of the baggage that people can bring. And you can bring it too if you choose it. So if you don't sit with this last purge, imagine that you're taking that gunk, like you're afraid to let go of the gunk in the chrysalis, or after you give, like, this is really gross, but after you give birth, you're like, ooh, I don't want to let that gunk go. I'm gonna carry it with me. Who wants to do that? But if you do it, you're now bringing, so like you're bringing heaviness where you can't rise up far enough to get into that flow that the energetics of a 6 year bring. That flow is expansive. It changes perceptions. it changes. It's kind of like the hanged man in tarot. He's hanging upside down so he can see a new perception of reality. We have that opportunity. The flow of energy is there. We are turning into the frequency. This higher frequencies flow with creativity. It flows more with an abundance of a service based energy. And we are coming out of a time period of a year that was very limited. It was very restrictive. It was, creativity was stifled, right? You couldn't be creative with your time and just go out and do it. There were restrictions, right? There were limitations. We've all had those in very different, unique ways, but we've experienced the limitations and restrictions in a lot of different ways. Abundance wasn't there because we didn't have the abundance of all of the things that we wanted to create and wanted to do. So the 6 year moves into that. So that energy is going to be flowing. And those of us who are in those higher perspectives, those higher frequencies, can flow into 2022 all through it in those higher frequencies without all the baggage. But there's going to be another reality of people who bring all of this baggage in from this transformational opportunity of a year that we had. And though they're going to be laden down with that weight. And you can't flow in a river if you're hanging on to boulders of old, dense boulders. It's going to be a rough year for many people who weren't willing to be honest and do the work this year, be honest with themselves and do the work and purge all of that stuff because they were afraid to go there. They were resistant of taking a look at the truth of whatever it was in their life or their reality that they had to look at. So this today, if it feels heavy, it's normal, it's collective, everyone's feeling it. And yet we move into a time, we're almost here, I'm 6 hours away. No, yeah, 6 hours away. Where time is it? I don't know. We're hours away from a new year. We're almost to that time where people start celebrating. And yes, I will be celebrating my own way, probably in my pajamas, and I'll probably be asleep by midnight. But I will be celebrating that this year is over because I know for me personally, I've done the purging, I've done the transformation, I've been in the mess, I've been in the muck, and I've done it with a lot of you all as well. So we are moving into now. When I wake up tomorrow, I'm going to be like, hello, 2022, because I know the energy is here and it's just my job and your job to find that flow and to be in it, to rise above all of the densities that will come in, because there's a whole world, there's a whole reality that wants to bring this mess with us. I'm not including myself in that mess. I'm flying above it, and I'm going to be in the flow of 2022. And if you join me on these daily tune-ins and in the Ascension Bank, we are certainly going to be finding that flow, and that's what we are going to be looking for and attuning ourselves into. Either way, I want to wish you all the most magnificent few hours left of this year, because this is the time to be in gratitude for everything we've learned, for the new operating system. Think about who you were this time last year. Oh my God. I don't even know where I was, but I know where I was geographically. And when I look at this year, I couldn't have known this time last year that I would be sitting where I am now. I couldn't have known anything that arose this past year for me, because it just wasn't even in my consciousness. I had no clue what was coming. A lot of it were those right hooks of life happening where I was like, whoa, I didn't see that happen, and that really hurt. And yet I wouldn't go back. I don't regret anything. There's been some hard stuff where I'm still reeling from it, but I'm like, I still wouldn't go back because I like who I've become. I like the resiliency that I've found. I like the truthful nature of who I've become. I kind of am excited to see who this person or what this person can create coming up in this next year, because I think I can create some pretty badass things because I feel pretty badass now. And I know a lot of you feel that way too. So have a beautiful, happy new year. Even if you feel dense, Celebrate that because you are an antenna and you are doing some work for the collective and you are doing work for Mother Earth to anchor in these beautiful new frequencies of 2022. So you're a rock star, you're a freaking transformer of energy, you're an influencer of consciousness. You're pretty badass. So, at the very least, have a glass of champagne or whatever you like to drink or a cup of tea to celebrate that part of you because you are completely, completely new. You are completely updated. You are completely essential to this ascension process. And if you don't see that, I hope you hear this from my mouth to your ears that you are essential to the flow of Mother Earth getting into that brand new frequency of being and flow for 2022. If you are in the Ascension Bank already, or if you have some issues with money and you're just like in lack and scarcity and you are just tired of being broke all the time, I have just uploaded a brand new workshop in the Ascension Bank. It's called the Mental Wealth Bank, and it is a really powerful daily practice to help reprogram your subconscious mind to higher levels of financial abundance. So remember, we here in the ascension process are concentrating first on consciousness, expanding that. When that expands, the emotional energetics of us expand, which then expand the physical realms. However, we can help that whole process by tuning in to the to the physical realm of our subconscious mind, expanding that. When that expands, we have brand new experiences with money and we start seeing it differently and perceiving it differently and receiving it differently. We then our energetics expand and we're like, what the heck? This is amazing, which then tunes us even more into our consciousness. So not only are we expanding from above to below, but we're also expanding, below up. And it's this beautiful, expansive energy all around us. And that is the flow of 2021. So if you want to specifically change the flow of your financial life in 2022, then get this workshop. It's 52 or 53 minutes. It's a daily practice you do every single night before you go to bed. It's based on hypnotherapy techniques to reprogram the subconscious mind and around any old programming, around habits, behaviors, and emotional responses to money, completely reshifting all of that. And it's really, really freaking powerful. So that is available to you. It's on demand in the Ascension Bank. And I've got some plans I'm going to be announcing here soon for more of a more connective community in the Ascension Bank as well in 2022. So let's see what you all have to say. You guys are saying a lot. I love it. Glasgow, Scotland is in the house, and Minnesota. Welcome. You look beautiful. Well, thank you. I love the art behind you. Oh, good. You're not feeling down at all. Sweet. Lucky you. Actually, I feel much better now. You know why? Because I tapped into my creativity and I did recorded the mental bank workshop and I love that whole practice. I had to put this up. This is a work in progress that I haven't actually touched for weeks now. But the place that we moved into yesterday is so boring. It's just this color everywhere. So I had to put some color up, but thanks for noticing it. From London is here. That's amazing. 6 is my life path number. Woo, you Trish, you and me having 2022 of a rock star. It's the final purchase, the final countdown. I hear that too. Shelly, that's awesome. I caught you live for a change. Good. Appreciate you sharing your story as you traveled. So cool. That's going to be continuing. That's for sure. Be in your PJs too me too. So please, I caught the live for once. I'm so glad you all got here for the live. Thank you for being here. Happy New Year. Love the painting. Thank you. Hopefully soon it'll change. But okay, Happy New Year. Everyone's saying Happy New Year. Thank you all for being here all over the world, international people. I absolutely love this whole thing. I'm super grateful. I've had an amazing year. I'm about to post on Instagram the year that I had, and as I was putting that post together in a video, I was quite surprised with what it looked like. It felt like it felt like a battle, but it was beautiful in pictures, and I've had some amazing experiences from you know road tripping 2,000 miles through Mexico and spending 5 months on the Mexican Riviera and coming to Ukraine and having some really painful moments at the same time, having some like crazy beautiful experiences that were life changing. So it's been weirdly painful yet expansive, beautiful year. So 2021 was. I told my husband it's going to go in the record books. It's been that year that will live in my memory always for the year that I grew the most. And we don't grow from we grow in the fertile soil of like shit sometimes. So it was a fertile year for many of us, and I'm super grateful it's done. I'm super grateful for the work that we all have done. We've nurtured and fertilized our lives quite a bit with these energies, and we're in for a really good ride, as long as we see it that way in 2022. So take care, everyone. Have a safe New Year's, and we will see you on Monday for the first tune in of 2022. Mwah! See you there.